Hi, everyone. Okay, just letting everyone in. Nice to see you all.
Good morning, everybody.
How are you doing, Nancy? How's that arm of yours?
Completely healed.
Brilliant. Well done.
How is your finger?
Yeah, not completely healed, but it's not bad. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to heal it in a day. It's taken a week. It's amazing how often you use your middle finger.
Or your right wrist. I found that out.
Okay. We're just waiting for a few more people to come in. How's everyone else doing today? Good.
Good.
Good. Glad to see you guys after yesterday. Okay. All right, so let's get started. Well, it's been quite a week. I don't know about the rest of you, but it's been a little frustrating and challenging. Certainly do we still call it the 3D world? Does that still exist? But that kind of 3D world has been quite challenging this week. I found everything has been 2 steps forward well, 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Everything I've tried to do this week has been a bit like that. And then eventually this weekend, I just gave up and I thought, okay, well, we're just obviously going to be challenged on every level. So we'll just be challenged on every level. Yeah, and then, feeling into the energies of this week, we are in the throes of this really, really interesting time where the structure or the matrix, the operating matrix within ourselves and within the world is just being dismantled. I've had the weirdest aches and pains all down my right hand side. I mean, I've hurt my right toe, then my right finger. Now there are these really strange aches and pains and stiffness all down the right side. And when I kind of tapped into the feelings of it, it was this old structure that we've taken on is being dismantled. And if we look at the right-hand side of our body, it is the masculine side of ourselves. So that structure sits in that part of us. And it is what is being dismantled at the moment. And I think, Elizabeth Rose, you've just said it felt like we were being paused a lot this week. And I think that's exactly right. Because we are attempting to move forward in a world that is still being built. And so we can't move forward as swiftly as we'd like to. I think I felt frustrated my entire life at the way time works here and how instant manifestation doesn't happen. It takes time for that to happen. Whereas I think when we're not in this physical realm, things just happen at the blink of an eye. So we are, there is, for me, certainly there's that level of frustration that has been coming up because I'm trying to engage in a world that isn't yet fully formed. And as a result of that, there is this need for pause or to stop and to wait for the next step to be built or for the next brick to be put in the wall. And I think that's kind of causing some frustration. And at the same time, for me, I kind of feel like there's so much I want to do. There's so much still that I want to offer. I get quite excited about the opportunities that I can see happening around me, and I kind of want to dive into everything. And then I collapse in a heap of exhaustion and think, I don't know where I had the enthusiasm or the energy to be enthusiastic, because now I can't imagine how I'm going to get myself up off the floor to go and do what I need to do. So it is this weird time. And at one point I kind of stopped and said, okay, what is the message in all of this frustration? What is it that I need to be doing? Because I think there's the inherent in us, because of how we've been conditioned in this old world, is this fear that we're going to miss the boat. We're going to miss the opportunities. They're going to move past us and we're not going to be able to take full advantage of them. But that actually isn't the case. These things are set out for us. And as we move forward, it's almost like we're seeing the opportunity, but right at the very beginning, there's still this path that needs to widen and open up and expand. So we need to just follow the process of the expansion and allow that process and allow ourselves to be taken along the process. It's like stepping into the flow, into the stream, into the river, and allowing the current to take us, rather than thinking we need to make it happen, which is that old masculine structure, that old masculine form, which says you need to make it happen. Whereas at the moment, that is not really where we're at. We need to, the opportunities exist. We will be taken into those opportunities and we will be expanded through those opportunities. So we have to trust that the stream that we're stepping into is the stream that we're meant to be in, and the movement of the flow of that stream is happening is exactly as it is meant to happen. We can't kind of make it go faster as much as we'd like to. And at the same time, you know, just tapping into the energies of what's kind of happening. I know there are so many people who have struggled in this time to be able to connect with their purpose, connect with what it is that they're supposed to be doing. And I think that in that struggle, there is, I suppose there's a level of fear that surfaces that then blocks everything. And it's almost like in that space of fear, the heart center gets closed. Everything shuts down on this level, and access to our soul wisdom, our soul guidance, and our soul intuition doesn't happen because that door is closed. So what we're being asked to do at the moment is to really move into that space of faith and trust, to really allow ourselves to expand into that heart center so that we can actually hear the wisdom and the guidance of our soul. It is, and it's also essential that we actually put in place practices that can support that. And whatever those practices are, for me, it's meditation, it's prayer, it's walking in nature, it's being outside, it's spending time with people I love. Just those simple practices are what will support us in being able to tap into that faith and trust and that kind of inner knowing that we are, you know, we are exactly where we need to be right now, even if it is challenging, even if it looks like the world is falling apart. Let the world fall apart. And we're being called to tap into the strength that we have already, the strength we have already gained on our journey. You know, we haven't just, I don't know, popped out of the womb and landed in this challenging space. We've all had lives of experience, and a lot of it challenging experiences that have given us the strength and the courage and the fortitude that we need to be able to move forward in our lives, to be able to face these challenging times in the world and know that we are not going to be broken by it, that we're not going to lose ourselves in it. And we need to start drawing on that strength. We need to start pulling that strength in, because that is what will keep us moving forward in that space of faith and trust. And it is that which will enable us to kind of surrender into what is it that our soul is guiding us to do? What is it that our soul is telling us to do? I'm still listening to Caroline Mace's The Courage to Confront Evil, still loving it. And what I heard over the last week, one of the things she said that was so profound for me, especially in this time, was that she said that when you feel like you are in the desert, pray, read, rest, immerse yourself in your own soul, in your own spirituality, in your own your own consciousness, because that will feed you, and that will give you the nourishment that you need to be able to move through these times. And for me, that really I really sat with that, because I thought there are these times where, nothing seems to be happening, and everything you try just feels like it's being blocked. And that idea of being in the desert and allowing ourselves to just be in that space and to pull in what we can to be able to nourish us and give us the strength that we need for the time when we come out of the desert, because you don't stay in the desert forever. It's just a moment in time. So it's about drawing on those practices, drawing on the things that feed you and nourish your soul. So start to think about what are those things. And actively start doing them. I mean, part of that as well is that we need to engage with our own processes and the spaces that we're in. We need to also take responsibility for where we are at, and taking responsibility also means then allowing ourselves to help ourselves. Rather than, lying on the floor and saying, I mean, there have been times where I've just said, oh, take me now, God, I can't do this anymore. I've had enough. I'm sure my children will be fine without me. But we're not in that space at the moment, and we need to kind of pick ourselves up and keep going. Anita was guided this afternoon to do an imprinting process around surrender to faith and trust. Good. Nancy, all those practices in the desert teach us or give us the opportunity to know we are not alone and God is always with us. Exactly. I mean, I'm using my desert time to listen to Caroline Mace. And to come up with wild and wonderful ideas. The other night I had a dream that I was looking at holiday packages to see where I was going to go. And sadly, I heard this voice saying, there's a storm coming, you're not going on holiday. I thought, oh, okay, fine. Anita, I was told I have eons and eons of a bedrock of trust and faith to draw in. Exactly. It's there. We wouldn't keep coming back to this place if we didn't have that faith and trust and that knowing of what it is that we're here to do. And we need to tap into that. And one of the things, in just feeling into the energies of this coming week and what we're stepping into. And I think, we're stepping into a new month, and the month starts with a full moon. Interesting. Full moon is in Pisces, and the sun is in Virgo. So we've got a water sign and an earth sign, both feminine elements. So we are very much working with that feminine energy. But for me, the feminine energy is something that is coming in to support us. It's not something that's coming in to challenge us at the moment. If we look at the water comes in to clear, to wash away. We work with the element of water. It's about flow, it's about movement, it's about clearing and cleansing. If we look at the earth is something that holds us, that feeds us, that nourishes us. So we have these two energies, above and below. In fact, they're both above at the moment, but you know what I mean. And we're kind of being held between the two of them. So we need to also work with them. And if I look at, feeling into what is it that we're clearing, what is it that is being asked of us at this time, it is the mental patterns and programming that has governed our lives for this lifetime and probably centuries of lifetimes as well. And we're needing to release those, to let them go, to be able to free our minds to connect with the expansiveness of our consciousness. I don't know if anyone's got or has had a family member who has suffered from Alzheimer's or from there's Alzheimer's and there's something else, dementia. And many years ago, I had a client come to me whose mother was suffering terribly from dementia. And she said to me, I don't understand on a spiritual level why, what is keeping her here? Her mind is gone. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know who anyone is. Why is she still here? Why doesn't she just leave? And I said, it's a good question. And so I said to her, well, let's tap into the energy of what's going on and see if we can understand what the dementia is about. And I was shown that this woman had such incredibly strong walls within her mind that had been created by the life that she had grown up, or the world that she had been grown up in, the conditioning that she had grown up in with regards to her family, the beliefs that she had taken on. All of this had literally created these incredible barriers in her mind. And because of the barriers, her awareness, her soul, and her consciousness was not able to expand. And we are in this massive time of expansion and growth. So it was almost like she had to leave, her consciousness had to leave the mind so that she could actually embark on the journey of evolution, so that her soul could expand. It had to literally expand beyond these barriers because it couldn't break them down. They were so strong. And what I'm seeing for us this week and what we're moving into this month is that these barriers within our minds are being removed. They are being deconstructed because we can no longer live within the framework that they have offered us. They are old, they are outdated. For example, if you look at our educational system, it is 50 years old. It's old. I mean, the amount of stuff that has happened in the world in the last 50 years. I mean, just look at the subject of history. How much history has expanded? How much history have we gathered in the last 50 years? The children are now having to learn. I mean, the work just gets more and more and more. How are they meant to do this? So like, the educational system is outdated and old, so are these patterns or these structures in our mind, and it's time for them to go. Jennifer's got a message here. My dad was in Japanese internment camps during World War II. When he was inside Alzheimer's, I had the sense my dad was doing some profound inner work of the soul. Yeah. It's exactly what they are doing. And unfortunately, these mental constructs that are happening are too embedded to be able to shift beyond them. And that's why they have to literally move outside of themselves in order to do the soul work. And we certainly don't want to get into a space where we're locked into the structures of the old world. We're wanting to move beyond those old structures. So we need to start working with this process. And how we can work with this process is really looking at what are the beliefs that are holding us back. Tapping into what those beliefs are. What are the structures in our mind that limit us? I mean, there's, and I think I've spoken about it before in a webinar. my whole life, I feel like I have been waiting for this time. And I had, in some senses, given up that it was ever going to happen. I kind of thought, well, it's never going to change. We're just going to keep going on the same hamster wheel. I kind of given up. I kind of thought, well, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to have, and then suddenly this pandemic hit and everything started getting shaken up, and I thought, lost. It's finally happening. And I think we need to start working with that, and celebrating what is actually happening in the world, because all the things that have kept the dysfunction and the imbalance in place are being revealed. And because they're being revealed, they are collapsing. We can only change something once we see it. And then Lynn sent a message. My dad has served everyone else and never thought of himself. Now he feels like he has to go into his soul. No choice. Yeah. So in the coming months, my suggestion for every one of us is to start tapping into the belief structures that are sitting within us. And you can, it's not a difficult task to do. I think you can first start with things that are important to you. What are the things that are important to you in your life? Things like your beliefs around love, your beliefs around relationships, your belief around money, your belief around health, your belief around the physical, your physical form, your physical body. I'm just thinking of topics off the top of my head. Even your belief around what you think you're capable in this lifetime. We've also been told you are a particular way, you are a particular person. I mean, how many of us have been told from the day we are born, this is who you will be, this is how you will be, this is how you will operate, this is how the family works. We don't do those things in this family. Really? Why not? And it's really time to start letting those things go and actually unpacking them so that we can see how limiting they are, how they keep us confined and how they keep us small. And then Nancy, do you think that the reverse is true, that keeping a more open mind might help to keep dementia at bay? Yes, I do. I really do. And I think that we need to be open to the fact that we are always learning something. We are always growing. We'll never reach a point where we know everything. We just won't. So we need to also embrace the fact that we are here to learn. And if we stop, then that's when those constructs get embedded in us. And hold us in a space that is not evolving, that doesn't change. Change is normal, change is natural, change is something that we need to embrace and we need to work with. And as we unpack all of these beliefs, as we start to look at them and look at how limiting they are and how they keep us small and keep us confined, then we can start to understand, when we move beyond them, we can start to understand what we have, the power that we actually have in our lives, the power that we actually have to change the world. And I mean, that saying by Gandhi is always so relevant. Be the change you wish to see in the world. It starts with us. Then Jennifer's message, I wish we could rid ourselves of the idea of belief, replacing it with the idea of faith and the idea of trust. Belief seems like a rigid container. Humans are evolving to let go of belief. And then Lauren, you've always said that it comes down to ourselves first. Oh yeah, you bang on about that. Yeah, I wish we could take the word belief away, just cancel it out. We should have cancel culture around words and phrases, not people. Nancy, interestingly, I pulled a card today that said I work on the enlightening of myself. I live to fulfill my own true needs and to realize my full potential. I believe faith is being tested and we are here to remember our magnificence. I agree. And I think, our faith is tested when we don't have it. That's when it's tested. When we have faith, life just happens. And the one thing about beliefs is a belief is something that we have taken on from someone else. It is something that has been told to us and we have taken that on as truth. It is not necessarily truth. And what we're needing to unpack is what are the beliefs that we hold around ourselves. Let go of those and invite our soul's truth to emerge so that we can live from that place. So it's almost like the platform of our life has been formed by the beliefs that we've taken on. And now that platform is being cleared, and the new platform that emerges is the one that is built on our soul's truth. And when we let go of the beliefs, we let go of the need to be, I suppose it's all that ego stuff, the need for everyone to support us and encourage us. And, we just get on with doing what we are here to do. We don't need someone else kind of nudging us forward. My soul says, do this. I mean, the amount of times in my life that my family have looked at me and gone, are you insane? What are you doing now? And I've never been able to explain it. I can't say, well, I've been guided to move again. I mean, this is in the past. Thankfully, I'm not moving right now. But, and at the time, there's no reason why I need to move. It's just, I need to move. I need to get out of here. And then I will move. And months later, the realization of why I've moved becomes very apparent. I'm like, well, there you go. But I couldn't tell you that 6 months ago because I had no idea. It was just, I've got to get out of here. And I think we need to be able to tap into the parts of ourselves that despite what everyone else is saying, or despite the criticism or the judgment or the questioning from others, we just get on with our own lives and do what we feel we need to do. Oh, I like this. Megan, enlightenment is when a wave realizes it is the ocean. Yes. That's exactly it. And then the ocean has to go and do the laundry. Has anyone else got anything they'd like to share?
One time I was at the Redwoods out in California watching a leaf go down a stream. It was I can picture it. It was a long time ago. And what came to me was the definition of God was good, orderly direction. So it goes along with what you started with. As I just watched, the leaf kind of stopped on a rock and then it freed itself, and that's really what life was about. And it was such a profound moment. I can literally put myself back on that bridge. But I always think of that when I think of God, that it's really just about good, orderly direction and having the faith to just get on the path and go with it. So
I love that. Good, orderly direction. Brilliant. Lauren, I'm really struggled with feeling like I don't have the support from others I am wishing for right now. So that message about getting on with your soul's path despite getting encouragement or support from others. Yeah. Join us here every Sunday, Lauren. There's lots of support here. I think it's also, Nancy, just getting back to that good, orderly direction. When we also get out of our own way, and just kind of let us move in the flow. This idea that we need to work it all out, and we need to. I had a conversation with someone last week, and we were talking about work, and he's very structured, and he likes to know what he's doing before he does it. Typical man. And I was saying, just wing it. You don't know what you need to say. When you're engaging with a group of people, only in that moment do you know what the energy is. Only in that moment can you actually feel the collective energy of where everyone is at. If you're trying to prepare for something 2 weeks or 2 months in his case, before you actually do it, it's already changed. The information has already changed. Everything has already changed. So we need to get out of this idea that we always need to be planning and plotting our lives and how it works. Just go with it. If you get the inspiration of this is what I need to be doing, don't question it, just do it. Follow that calling, because that will lead you. You will work it out as you go. You don't need to know it all. And I know that there is this feeling of I suppose, people want to know how to do things because they're afraid, they're going to make a fool of themselves. To those people, get a sense of humor and laugh at yourself, because we all make fools of ourselves all the time. And then there's the fear of failure, and sometimes for others, the fear of success. But if we just get on with it and we just do it, without thinking about it, without plotting it, without planning it, we don't worry about anything, because we're so busy working it out as we're going. There's no time for those silly little fears. There's a few comments here. Oh, Nancy, I also look forward to this all week. I get quite excited on a Sunday afternoon. Anita, another phrase I've heard, like in good orderly direction, is in right action. They make such simple sense. Yes, simple is the profound. I've always thought the profound is found in the simple. And Fiona, it's amazing how many people keep going with a bad presentation as planned rather than sense it would change due to the response. That's exactly it. How many times in corporate business do you sit in front of someone and you think, you've missed it. You've just missed it, because they're so set on it. And I remember giving a talk, I think one of the first talks I ever gave on, in this field. And I was so petrified of public speaking when I was in school that I would bunk school rather than have to do the presentation. So I was forever in detention for bunking school because I couldn't do it. I could not stand up in front of people and talk. It was horrendous. And the first talk I ever did, I planned it. I wrote it all out. I had little notes and those little card things. I thought I was very professional. It was the worst talk I have ever given in my entire life. It was 1,000 times worse than any presentation I may or may not have done at school. And I swore after that, I'm never doing that again. So it was good learning. I can see Lauren laughing at me. Nancy, follow your own intuition, desires of your heart in the present moment. Yes, trust your guidance. You're never alone. You're all being supported and loved in every single moment by our higher being. Exactly. And I think it's that trust, you know, the trust of in the moment you're going to know what to do. In the moment you're going to know what to say. I mean, I've had a few comments from people about these sessions where suddenly I go silent because in my head I'm going, I don't know what to say next. And I've got to just wait. And it might be an awkward pause, but I'm sitting thinking, please, just give me something. And it always comes. It always comes. Okay. Lauren, I guess I felt so alone recently, although I know there are so many of my spirit guides, animals, ancestors walking with me. Just to remember and come back to remembering. Thanks, Nancy. I think it's also it's also important to connect with like-minded people at this time. I mean, I know all of you guys are finding that as well. Because yes, we do have this incredible support on a spiritual level, but we also need that support on a physical level. Elizabeth Rose, that's huge for me right now. Yeah. I think that, you know, being able to speak to people that just get it. You know, that you don't have to explain who you are. You don't have to explain what you're feeling. You don't have to explain why you are living your life your way. And thankfully, we've all come out of the closet, and there are a lot more of us. We're not so hidden. The fear of being burnt at the stake is none of that anymore. Okay. Elizabeth Rose, that came up for me this week. Yeah. And Jennifer, it can be exhausting to have to explain. I think we can let go of that need. I agree. Could feel it in my feet. Was that the fire in your feet or the, yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I'm making a joke of it now, but it is a serious fear that a lot of us carry. And I surprisingly enough didn't have that fear, although I have had a lifetime of being burnt at the stake. And when I went back to look at that lifetime, I knew it was going to happen before it happened, so I was almost prepared for it. And I've often wondered if it's because of that knowing, I didn't die carrying that absolute terror of what was happening. Because it can be a really deep wound that needs to be released. Elizabeth Rose multiple times. Wow. Can't say I'm surprised. Yeah. And I think that that is the biggest fear that comes up when we are exposing this part of ourselves, finding myself expressing more to friends and surprised how good the reaction is rather than thinking you're mad. Yeah. I think that, I mean, guys, they admitted that they're aliens. And no one said anything. Okay, they did it in the middle of a pandemic and everyone was panicking about a disease, not aliens. They have. They said, yes, we've been talking to aliens. It still blows my mind that no one's excited about that. We all just went, okay, terrified about the pandemic. I mean, really? Shouldn't we be more afraid of aliens? Or more afraid of what the aliens have been telling the governments? Yeah, but they find it's out. So I think that, I mean, I'm just using that as a silly example, but there's a lot more information that is available to people now, and I think that a lot of the information around what we discuss is being shared with the muggles. Megan says she's just too dumb to the fake news. Well, I'm not. The alien thing wasn't fake news. At least I hope not. Definitely can't be. I've seen them. Lorraine, I just see people waking up to truth, even though they don't realize they're waking up. Yeah. Jennifer, I love that you just said the muggles. The muggles are waking up. The funny thing is, no one ever thinks they're a muggle, even if they are. Something we've known and now they admit it. Yes, Pam, exactly. But I've find it fascinating that they admit it in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, talk about choosing your timing. It got lost in the news. Bury the lead. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so unless anyone else has got anything they'd like to share, we can get on to doing some meditating.
Just one quick thing. Talking about the times of the burnings of the witches. When I started work at the place that I'm at, I met a woman, and the minute I saw her, I knew we had been in a coven in that time period. And I mean, I could literally, I can't look at her. I've known her for 8 years. I can't look at her to this day without seeing her in that time period instead of this. We always joke about it. She actually looks in this life very similar to what she looked in that life. But anyway, weird things.
Well, there are some weird things. When I used to do past life regressions with people, I was always fascinated because their faces would change. They would actually be their face would be changed, the shape of it would change, and you could actually see who they. And I wish I could draw portraits because I would love to have just quickly sketched the face, their face from that time. And it was always interesting to see that they weren't that different to what they looked like now. The coloring might have been different, and their cheekbones might have been a little bit higher, their eyes a little bit different, but maybe the jaw a bit different. But generally, they kind of still look the same. Oh, interesting. At least she wasn't the one that got you burnt at the stake, Nancy.
No, but my sense is that it might have been the other way around. I don't know with her, but that I did something at the time that betrayed. But that's a whole other story. Hopefully I'm doing better in this life.
I think you are, definitely. I think we're all doing better in this life. Okay. All right, so just allow yourself to settle into a comfy space. And then when you're ready, closing your eyes. And just drawing your awareness into your breath. And using your breath to just relax and to let go. And just sink into the space that we have created together. Just feeling the tension drop from your body. Feel the worries and the concerns and the anxiety that you're holding now just dissipate. And feel yourself moving into a space of peace. And drop your awareness down into your heart center. And in your mind's eye, see yourself standing before an old and ancient wooden door. And you gently push on the door. And it opens into a beautiful and magical garden space. This is the garden of your soul. And you step into this garden. And you feel the serenity, the peace, and the tranquility of this space. You just breathe that in. Reminding your body and being of what this peace and tranquility feels like. You move deeper into the garden, observing the plants, the animals, and the light as it dances. You can hear water nearby. And you begin to move towards the water. And you watch the water as it ebbs and flows. You notice how the light shines on the water. Revealing the nature spirits that exist in this space. And you allow yourself to step into the water now, feeling as it washes over your feet and your ankles. The temperature just right for you. And you move deeper and deeper into the water until you're able to completely submerge yourself in it. You feel it washing over your body, your face, your hair. And you allow this water to cleanse and to clear your energy field. You just allow yourself to connect to the water. And to listen to the message that water has for you at this time. What is it that the waters of your soul need you to know at this time? And then when you're ready, make your way out of the water and feel the warmth of the sun as it dries your hair and your skin. And you begin to make your way towards an ancient and old tree. You find a comfortable place to sit beneath the tree, leaning back against its trunk. And as you connect with the tree, you're reminded of the importance of grounding and connection. And you allow yourself to merge with this tree, to become one with the tree. And you feel yourself expanding, filling the ancient trunk. You can feel the roots that move deep into the body of the earth. You can feel the energy of the earth as it sustains this tree, feeds it, nourishes it, supports it. And you expand upwards, connecting with the branches and the leaves, feeling how these reach into the heavens, receiving light. And feel how that light is integrated into the body of the tree as truth and wisdom and knowing. You're reminded that, like the tree, you too have roots that reach deep into the earth and branches that reach high into the heavens. Allow yourself to feel how you are supported by heaven and earth. How you are held between these two forces. And allow yourself to relax into their support. Feel the ancient wisdom of your soul begin to rise from the core of your being. Feel it like an energy that begins to move throughout your entire body and being. This wisdom that has been gained in lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. You step away from the tree now. Thanking it for its support. And keeping the connection that you have now to the wisdom of your soul. And feeling the connection that you have re-established to the heavens and to the earth. You begin to move through the garden, allowing it to speak to you, to share with you, to nurture you, and to give you the energy that you need at this time. Now gently moving back towards the door. Just acknowledging that this is a sacred space that you can come to at any time. for support, for nourishment, for guidance. Allow yourself to step through the door and back into the space that we've created together. Take a few deep breaths. And just feeling your body again. Moving your fingers and your toes. You can open your eyes when you're ready. I hope you're all feeling refreshed. Nancy, one of my cats kept meowing at me. I didn't want you to go too far into that garden in case you didn't come back. Yeah, that garden of our soul is an interesting space to move into, and it's one we need to remember to go into regularly, because it definitely can be a very nurturing space, and often can give us some energy and some strength, some guidance. So do that one again. Nancy, so good. Love the gifts and support of trees. Me too.
Kate, can I say something?
Please, Lauren.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, because before I came here today, I was really, really feeling out of sorts and frustrated and aggressive. And I just needed like a release, like a big, giant release. And just being here today and listening to you speak really, really, really helped me back into my place of flow. And I'm just really thankful to you for that today, and everyone else who held the space.
Thanks, Laura. That's great. I'm glad that it's helped to shift you back. Elizabeth Rose, I did not want to come back here. The water was so hot. And on the way out, I was given a passport of dreams to come back with. I love that. Passport of dreams. Oh, thank you. That's a good one. I think we all need a passport of dreams. Beginning of a new era in my life for sure. Yes, definitely yes. About time. Oh, good. Oh, these are lovely messages. Surrounded by young animals felt like a fresh start. Yes, yay. About time too. That's good. Well done, guys. So much grace. It's beautiful. Pam Burns, I wish these awesome meditations could easily be extracted so I could import them into my iTunes library to easily listen to on my iPhone at any time. Well, there are some that I have put to music, so I will send them to you, Pam. This is probably another one. Fiona, okay, everyone wants one. Okay. I'll see if I can extract this one. I've worked out that on Zoom you can take the video and you can take the audio. So I'll see if I can put this one into an MP3, and then you guys can pop it into your iTunes. And for those that want the other ones, just send me a reminder email, please, and then I have every intention of sending them, but you know, that to-do list of mine somehow just sits there. Although I did have 2 very productive days this week, I have to say I managed to get through most of what was on my list, so that was good.
I was going to say that was something you mentioned last week about your to-do list. And like you, the first 2 days, I was just on it and I got so much done. And then I'm not quite sure what happened by Wednesday, but by then I felt I was so under control, I didn't care. So, but it was a really good start to the week. I didn't force myself. It was just naturally there. It was nice.
Yeah, I was exactly the same. Was on it Monday and Tuesday. By Wednesday, I was on the floor. It's like this to-do list just exhausted me.
But then it was also kind of congratulating yourself on what you had done rather than beating yourself up about all the things you hadn't done. So that was quite a fresh start for me. That was a good way to think about it rather than, so I came away happy that I'd had 2 good days. So that was good.
Let's hope tomorrow is another one. Yeah, I could do with another 2 more productive days this week, please. Okay, I'll make some time this week to put these meditations together and then send them out. Okay, well, I look forward to seeing you all next week, and have a brilliant week, everyone. Yeah, let's hope.
Thank you again, Kate.
Thanks, Nancy. Let's hope it's 2 steps forward the whole week. Anyway, I look forward to seeing what's up next week. It is a new month, so enjoy the full moon energies. Moon in Pisces, it can be a little emotional, so just go with it. Mm-hmm.
Thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone here.
Thank you. The full moon's on the 1st, Tuesday. Yeah, well, maybe not so bad after today. It's, see how we go. Thanks, everyone. Beautiful week to you all.
Bye.
Yes, bye. Thanks, Nancy.